You think the bitches are great because you're fucking seasonal. Nigga, you can't be seasonal. Niggas got, this shit's 24 hours a day.
Kingz. You're listening to the Kingz Podcast with your hosts, Karizmatik, Irish O'Neal, and Moush.
Welcome to the Kingz Podcast through the magic of the internet.
Brought to y'all, during these Corona times, each in our own pad, trying to be as safe as possible. Hope y'all are doing as well out there.
Absolutely.
And welcome to the Kingz Podcast. I am yours truly, Karizmatik.
What's up? I'm Irish O'Neal.
Moush.
And I'm Mitzzy Anne.
Joining us today, we got the great and wonderful Mitzzy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited for this. Sorry we couldn't have you in studio for this, obviously, but hopefully when the pandemic's over, we'll get you back on.
That would be nice.
And plus, I'm sure you lived through tougher. I mean, you're one of the people on the scene with one of the most colorful backgrounds, and I mean, most colorful presence actually. Living your life, I mean, in its utter glory. I mean, that's the way I see it, and that's the way I've always seen you, and I really appreciate you and people like you.
That's what we're about at the Kingz Podcast. There's people living their truths and being honest with what they're about. It's all about honesty in life.
Oh yeah.
Be happy with who you are.
Amen.
Should we do plugs?
Yeah, why don't we start off
right?
with plugs? Let me hit the plug music there. Charismatic, why don't you start us off?
Oh, definitely. Yo, I'm your boy, Karizmatik. I can't hear the music, by the way, but that's cool, man. You can catch me at Karizmatik IPE on Facebook, Karizmatik_me on IG and Twitter. And, I mean, you guys can catch me at my house during these Corona times, hoping to make y'all laugh a little bit. So, hope to see y'all when we get back out there. But for now, stay safe.
Oh yeah.
Mitzi, what do you have to plug?
Well, plug. I have two shows that I regularly do, but they've been canceled because of COVID. I do Jacques Cabaret Sunday Fun Day every Sunday evening. Starts at 6 p.m. once this Corona epidemic gets over. And then I do Fabulous Underground Comedy Kids, which is every second Friday of the month, which is in the basement of Jacques Cabaret.
Oh yeah.
Wow, did you hear? I heard Mitzi say Corvid. That's going to become a nice ghetto name right there. Hey, yo, Corvid, come in.
COVID-19, yeah.
Oh, Corvid? I know that motherfucker. I think he owes me money, don't he?
I know that nigga. What do you mean?
COVID owes me fucking money, man.
Ani_Moush on Instagram. Follow my Etsy store on Instagram as well by _Moush, and that is store name on Etsy by Moush. I'm unemployed now. Thank you, coronavirus. So
like all wonderful comics.
Yep. So now I am full-time podcasting.
Now you're a real comic.
I'm a real comic, guys. It's gonna make me so much funnier. So everyone's happy about that. But hit me up just to, like, if you need artwork for anything or just want to collaborate on anything at all. I'm all the available now.
Or if you got snacks, she loves snacks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be a snack daddy. So we can talk about that. And I also just want to plug the Kingz Podcast on Instagram as well. Follow them, or us, I guess. And subscribe to the YouTube channel too.
Oh yeah, guys! Instagram and Twitter. Follow me. It's Irish O'Neal. Follow the STC podcast, Shit Talking Cunts. We just did a hilarious episode with Sam Buck and Thatcher Wood.
Funny.
Oh my God, so funny, guys. So check that out. We go live every Sunday. Call in and talk shit with us. You know the number, 516-666-9492. Also check out my band Danesleaf at danesleaf.bandcamp.com. Pick up our album Fading Leaves. And I just did vocals on another album that just released called The Long Night by Dragonfire. Check that out. That's on Spotify and everything. And that's it, and that's that, because coronavirus has canceled all of everything.
Word.
Except for this podcast.
Except for this podcast, damn it.
Yeah.
We stay going.
Yep.
Yep, Last Stand Network. This is the last stand.
We're like taxes. We always happen, no matter what.
No matter what. I mean, that's the plus side, is that
Like that and
hopefully
wedgies.
you get your
Wedgies.
taxes back soon.
Yeah.
Wedgie will never be obsolete. Thank God.
So, guys, we always start this podcast by doing our 3 principles. These are 3 principles we say that to get these ladies, guys, because typically we're talking about from the guy's perspective. There's a lot of relationship podcasts out there, and me at least personally, I'm always trying to come from the guy's perspective and make them understand what they're doing wrong. Because as we always point out, it's always the guy's fault, in my opinion. Like the guy, whatever is going wrong that you're not happy with in your relationship, it's something you're not doing. So if you're applying these 3 principles, you'll never have any issues, whether it's just hookups or dating, whatever. I think that it works no matter what.
I say that we actually have a chance to get an interesting perspective today, having someone that has lived both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So definitely looking for your input on these principles. If you think that if you object or if you could double down on them in any way, I mean, judging from back in the day, would you say that these hang true? And I mean, judging from now as well. Well, true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. That's why
I'm jumping ahead of myself.
He's excited.
Thank you.
He's excited.
I'm titillated.
So our first principle, guys, as always, confidence. You need confidence. I liken it to being a salesman. You gotta believe in what you're selling. If you don't believe in it, why would anyone buy it from you? You gotta walk around not giving a fuck what their reaction is gonna be. You gotta be your authentic self. This is you. They buying it or you're walking.
Yep. I mean, if you don't want to fuck you, who's gonna want to fuck you? Come on now. You gotta at least be able to, set the candles, get the lavender scents, and have some me time. Some real goddamn me time. You know what I mean?
Plenty of time in the quarantine, let me tell you.
Yeah, yo.
This is the time to
yourself.
find your confidence. Understand what it is you want out of life and go for it.
Yeah, don't come out of quarantine not knowing if you like your balls tickled. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Karizmatik, you want to take the second one?
Yeah, I mean, second one is pure and unfettered honesty. I say if you're not sure of what you want or what you got to bring to the table, I mean, how are they supposed to be able to dictate that for you? You know what I mean? Be able to express yourself in the utmost clarity and at least be able to tell them what you want. Take the time to figure that out.
Honesty at all costs. All costs. It's like, if you're, even simple stuff like, the whole monogamous poly thing. Like if you're a person where you go, I know at some point I'm going to want to hook up with another person. You just know that that's you. Don't go into it being like, yeah, I'll be monogamous if you're really not monogamous. If that's not you, be honest about it. And hey, the current situation may not work out, but there's a better situation out there. It's better to just be honest and take the L.
Mm-hmm.
And also, that's not something that not every person knows up front. I mean, if you don't know, be honest and say you don't know. That's something you guys can explore together. If you plan on having a long relationship, these shits get long, hopefully.
Saying that you don't know is still being honest. If you don't know, you don't know. Just convey. People aren't mind readers. You just got to be honest, and you don't have to be a dick, but don't be afraid of. You don't need to sugarcoat it. Just like if this is how you feel, this is how I feel. Lay it out there.
Yeah.
Feel some type of way about that.
Oh, do you?
That sounds like such a guy thing. I don't know.
I mean,
we know all the time. We know.
No, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of shit guys don't talk about. I'm one of the few guys talking about the finger in the booty hole. You know what I'm saying? Very few people talking about shit. That shit feels fucking amazing, okay?
Yep.
No
I would argue, Karizmatik, that is part of your social intelligence that you bring to the table.
I would. I think that's a good segue right there.
Yeah, good
To
segue.
our third principle.
Our third principle, which is social intelligence. Basically, what we mean by that is if you're approaching anyone, really, just have something to say. Have a hobby, be interesting, and just have something to bring to the table. Don't just come up and kind of fumble on your words or not know what you want to express to someone. Just be interesting.
Be a person. Be a person. Actually, be an actual person when you approach them. Don't be an image. Don't be a picture. Don't be some pecs. Don't be some titties. You know what I'm saying? Be something more. Bring something to the table. If you're funny, be funny. If you're an intellectual, be an intellectual.
Yeah.
If you like smelling dog shit, I mean, not everybody's for that, but
But be honest and confident about the fact that your social intelligence is you like smelling dog shit, and there's someone out there for you.
Yes, sadly there is.
Probably a Reddit thread somewhere.
There definitely is.
Sure. Anyways, with this information, now we can segue. Mitzi, what do you think about these principles?
Well, yeah, you definitely need confidence, without a doubt. Honesty. I like that social, because I have guys come up to me all the time, and their line is, "Oh my God, I love your tits." Yeah, duh.
You're like, same.
Yeah, me too. I like.
So
Come
does
on.
everybody.
Even the gay guys like them.
Yeah.
If they don't want them, they have no interest in them, but they like them.
You're like, great. Did you know that grass is green and the sky is blue?
Yeah,
My tits are great.
Yeah. Duh.
And bear shit in the woods, like.
Right. It's a Pope Catholic.
Yo,
Go on.
that's honestly hilarious. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, why would that? I never understand guys that think that way. Like, first off, you think she didn't know that?
Right.
Secondly, like,
Why do you think I have them in the window?
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like you walk up to a blue
Like,
car,
hello?
you're not like, when you walk into a blue car, you're not like, oh my God, the car is blue. Like, no, really? Like,
Oh my God.
can you check out the interior real quick? Like, your whole selling point is blue? Fuck you, bro.
Amazing.
It's fucked up, yo. I can't live that way. I can't live that way.
I'm interested to know, like, what are some lines that have worked or like have gained your interest with guys coming up to you?
Guys coming up to me, that's a tough one. It has to be something funny. You have to make me laugh. Yeah, if you open up the conversation with something funny and interest, because you get the same old pickup lines that you get all the time. Oh, baby, you're beautiful, or the only thing you're missing is the only thing you're missing is me. Just dumb stuff, So anything out of the norm. What works up for me is like, oh, it looks like you need a drink. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a boring way in, but I guess that's a way in,
It's a
Like,
classic
where's my
way
money?
in.
Yeah.
It's a classic
well,
way. Like a drink, you're at least like, hey, maybe you get a conversation out of it. You at least are able to make your pitch meeting.
Yeah.
You're like, you have as long
You have
as
an
I
elevator pitch.
choose to give you my attention or finish this drink. Like, make your pitch.
Or as long as the bartender has to make the drink.
Fair. Oh, fair. That's even better.
That's harsh.
And that's why you're not a woman.
Well, let me tell you, if I was, I do that shit all the time. That's magical. I love that shit. Like, I love when a chick's like, yeah, gets a drink, and they're like, and peace. And it's like, yeah, get them.
Yo, with the level of thirst out there right now, like, I'd be racking up free restaurants, like literally going on dates every freaking weekend. I wouldn't be paying for shit.
Absolutely.
Like, the level of thirst is at an all-time high. Let them pay for some shit. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
The hell? You'll be drooling every time I walk by. Okay, you can buy me something. That's fine. I wish women were that thirsty. What? I'd come up. Are you serious? All I had to do was walk by and they're fucking mesmerized. I'd do it all day. I do it backwards. Like, you fucking kidding me?
All right. Well, shall we get into a real conversation now?
You know what, Ani? How dare you always trivialize our awesome conversations?
Yeah.
This is some in-depth, intense stuff.
You asked me to be here to keep you on track and to sometimes talk. So that's what I'm doing.
Fair. Fair.
So,
I like that. And to sometimes talk. If you want, every once in a while, you can say something.
Oh my God. We have jobs for this particular.
So
situation.
I was very excited to get Mitzzy on because Mitzzy has one of the most colorful backgrounds that I've ever heard, from her time in the military to transitioning to having kids and then having grandkids with, like, it's really, really, it's honestly inspiring. And
fucking awesome.
I mean, like, would you like to dive in? Like, where does this road start for you? Where does this
Well, it started a long time ago. If I had
So
a long time ago.
I would ask, what were you into? What were you like to begin with? Like, growing up, was transitioning always on your mind, or like?
Well, when I grew up, there was no such thing as transitioning. You were supposed to be a boy or a girl.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing in between. If you acted like a fairy or anything like that, you were told you were a fairy. I do public speaking all the time, and one of the things I says, I heard a lot of words growing up, but they were like things like faggot, sissy, you're such a queer. and those are from my family members. Those are from my parents. So
Wow.
I had a tough childhood growing up, and so I did the opposite. I was sissy, I was soft growing up, so I learned how to fight. I learned how to play all the sports. I was played varsity sports all through high school. Was very athletic. I boxed in the Navy.
Wow.
So I did the complete opposite. I was hiding who I was by, trying to overexcel, by trying to be more than a man.
Now, in like high school and stuff, were you trying to date girls, or were you just kind of avoiding dating altogether?
I probably dated. It's so funny. I just went to my high school reunion a couple months ago,
Wow.
and
That must have been interesting.
they asked if I would wear my graduation photo because people wouldn't know who I was, and I said I had no problem with that.
Yep.
Coming up to
That's
me,
awesome.
they're like, I'm not sure who you are. They're looking at me, and one of the girls who knew I was, they go, you don't remember? They played football, they played baseball. You used to date them. And to see the look on their face, I was like,
Oh my
no
god.
no way, dude.
That's
Yeah, so
amazing.
we got a lot of that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So like you when you saying that you went the other way hard, were women part of that, or were you always into women to begin with?
I've always I'm still bisexual. I'm attracted to men and women. But yeah, I just dated women then because I wasn't going to let anybody know about the other side of who I really was.
So did that make locker rooms weird for you?
Locker rooms were tough because I always felt that somebody was going to know that I wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh.
Like I'm not supposed to be there. I'm not really a guy. So, but there was no such word as transgender then. So it was tough. It was a tough time.
Do you feel like your high school relationships and stuff, were they affected at all by you feeling like you had to hide the second half of yourself?
I think I was in such denial through high school years that it wasn't that it was nothing on them that I didn't have to hide. I mean, I was going out with some of the prettiest girls in the school.
Fuck yeah.
So it wasn't a tough time for me. I was 6 foot tall. I was, in
You're
great
fucking
shape.
varsity all-star. You're just slaying pussy.
I
A sense of humor. I had curls. There was nothing. I had the world by the balls, and I had some. Yeah.
That's fucking phenomenal. So I mean, did your escapades get any wilder as you went into the army or anything like that? Like,
I bet
Well,
it had to
yeah.
ramp up, I bet.
Yeah. When I was in the service, I did all kinds of stupid things. Jumped out of planes, off cliffs. I was a diver. So yeah, I did all kinds of really things that you would think a guy would do, just to prove how masculine I was.
Were you
Even though underneath, I just wanted to be a girl.
where all did you get? Like, did you get a lot of stationed like overseas and stuff like that? Like,
I actually, one of the things is, and this is a true story, I was in Alston Center. I was living in that area at the time, and it was across the street from Great Scots, and there was a big bulletin board, and I was smoking a joint with a friend, and he goes, "Dude, what are you going to do with the rest of your life?" Because I had just lost my scholarship. And I says, "Hey, I want to see the world." And takes a hit. He goes, "Dude, look." And the bulletin board said, "Join the Navy, see the world." And I literally was in 2 weeks later. I went to the thing stoned. And the guy goes, "You do drugs?" I'm like, "I'm high right now." And he goes, "Nope." He just checked off nope. And then he was like, "Have you ever done this drug?" I'm like, "Oh, what kind of drug is that?" And then he would list what they were, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." And he was like, nope, yeah.
you're like, it's gonna be a shorter list if I just list what I haven't done.
PCP.
I love that they ask that like the army can be super picky about like needing people. It's like, don't you guys need people? It's like, are we really splitting cunt hairs over what drugs I've done?
Yo, forget that. I mean, like, trans people weren't allowed in the army for a long time. Like, who the fuck cares what gender you are if you're fighting for the country?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
was actually when I was in, it was like don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to tell people at that time.
I mean, I think that's a part of someone's life that's nobody's business unless you're involved in that part of the person's life.
It's like any job. That's how it factors. It's like, hey, if you're coming in and you're performing your job, who gives a fuck about anything else? If you're doing do you do your job well? Yes. Then what else matters? Nothing.
Nothing. You don't
Well,
understand that shit.
when I got out of the service, you get a lot of some of your old records, and one of mine said 4-0 sailor cannot adapt to military standards. I'm like, how can you be 4-0, meaning you're perfect, and not adapt?
Yeah, what is that? That's some contradictory bullshit.
Apparently, I was adapting.
Don't you hate the bureaucracy? Yo, it's fucking stupid.
Just splitting cunt hairs over fucking dumb
This person's
language.
perfect, but I don't like him. Like, the fuck? Who cares, motherfucker? Who cares? Who raised you? Like, the fuck?
Oh my god.
Yo, but I mean, when was your first experience? I guess with men or whatever. Like, did that happen in the service? Did that happen after the service? When did that start?
Well, it depends on what you want in this experience. I mean, I kissed probably another kid when I was growing up. We did that fake kissing. We faked like we were making believe we were making out, but we put the hand in between.
Yeah.
So it was that. Yeah, and then my first real experience was probably when I was in the Navy.
Wow.
Nice.
And how'd you get around that? That's frowned upon in the Navy. Did you have to sneak around and shit like that?
It was far off the ship. I wasn't on the ship, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, because that was gonna be my next question. I was like, was it a fellow service member?
Yeah.
That'd have been some spicy shid.
Was it in this country?
I actually had sex on the ship, but it was with the girl.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Do they have a special name for that? The nautical club or some shit?
I was restricted to the
I think you mean.
to the boat after we came in from a 9-month cruise. So I'd been out to sea for probably the last few months. I hadn't even seen another woman. So then we get pulled into port, and my ex-girlfriend showed up by surprise, and so she's like, "Oh, give me a tour of the ship," and like
I'll give you
everywhere
a tour
we
of something.
Yeah, it was.
Here are the balls. Here are the.
She wanted to give me a memory in all the different spots on the boat. So
Damn.
I'm sure you gave her a couple of somethings.
What a
That's
soldier.
tremendous.
I love
Yep. It's beautiful.
So
It's a beautiful story.
wait, we never answered that. Was your first time in the U.S.? Was it like out deployed or some stuff?
Yeah, I was in the U.S. It was in a very beachy community. I had actually missed my bus, and this guy offered to give me a ride, and he's like, "Well, what if I give you a ride in the morning and we just hang out?" Because I was going to grill up some steaks and have a couple of drinks. I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good."
Hell yeah.
thinking-
That's some smooth shit.
It's a
Yeah.
perfect
You
night.
know,
What
just
are
grill
you
up some
talking
steaks. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
about? Wine and dine.
Like you said that you came off very macho. How do you get a sense of it, or were you?
I don't know. I think that was the attraction at the time.
Maybe they just had the confidence. They were like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take a shot."
Oh yeah. I mean, there are guys that love that look, so they don't care.
Yeah.
There's people in the gay community that like all different types. So
That's fact. That is a fact.
I still to this day hold up that the best compliment I've ever received was Sharon Needles telling me I had perfect bone structure. I was like, stop.
oh, thank you.
I read a meme today that said if you haven't been hit on by a gay guy, you're not that attractive. I started rolling. I'm like, it's true. Like I think it's true. The hell? They like men too, so I mean, it just makes sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, when did the transition into Mitzzy start?
So I hid myself. I got married, had kids. So I was living in complete denial. It wasn't until after actually 20 years ago, I tried killing myself for the last time because I've tried a few other times before that. Actually climbed up in a tree, put a rope around my neck, and jumped. I said I'm lucky because the branch broke, and I hit every tree on the way down. Like, it was kind of like a slap, kind of like a roadrunner thing. I was Wild Coyote, and I hit every branch on the way down.
That's
So,
how you something.
but after that, I realized I had to do something, and it took a while. I took through therapy and shit like that for me to admit who I was. And part of it was to join a social group, which I did. And I just thought I would just dress up like a woman, and I would be okay with that. But it got to a point where I couldn't even take my clothes off without completely breaking down, like sobbing, crying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go back to.
You didn't want to feel like you were just wearing a uniform.
Right, exactly. To me, it wasn't a dress-up thing. It was who I was inside. So, yeah, it took a lot of mental health to fix that. So.
No, I'm happy you went through it, because I mean, what I like. You often tell the story of how we first met, which I think is kind of it's kind of funny, because like I didn't know I'd run into you on the comedy scene at all.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like when someone says that your first introduction is first time meeting somebody is a big thing, and I mean this was a great thing for me. I mean, I got to honestly meet someone outside, and then the person already knew who I genuinely was by the time they met me again. So it was pretty interesting, and I as true to that at that time as it is now. I mean, I'm very happy that you've chosen to live your truth, because I think that helped a lot of others.
It was one of the nicest things anybody had said to me in a while, and let me tell. So I was going to CVS. They went over in South Boston, I think Tremont Street. So the one on Tremont Street, and so I walk in, and I was looking for something. Actually, something was supposed to be on sale, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And so Karizmatik says, "Oh no, let me help you," and he, brought me right over to the area. He checked, he saw it. He goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll bring this up for the sale price." And he goes, "I don't want to be out of line here, but can I just say something to you?" And I'm like, "Oh, here it goes." And he goes, "Thank you for being who you are." Wow. I was like, "Just the way you said it, yeah." I know, yeah. He just came right out and said, "Thank you for being who you are."
This motherfucker.
Like, yeah, I know.
I mean, like, it's for me, it's really, I believe, like, there's something that people really need to hear, because while the rest of the world may be throwing you hate, there are a lot of people that really appreciate what you're doing. You know what I mean?
That helps you go along too,
Hell yeah.
And I mean, the more I see people living their truth, the more reckless I become in my speech. You know what I'm saying? I just keep going wild.
You know what? And that's why I gravitated so quickly to Karizmatik when I first started and everything too, because it's like I could tell he was just such an honest person. And this is what's funny is like
He's lying. I bribed him with chicken.
No. I'm getting to the chicken. Hang on. I'm getting to the chicken. I'm not gonna lie. The first 2 or 3 weeks, I was like kind of intimidated. I was just like, you were just. You were just a big, scary presence. You were just like loud and this big energy. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I kept hearing like Karizmatik, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then we were hanging outside Thunder Bar one day, and we were talking about, I think we were talking. I was just kind of like hanging in the circle a little bit. I think we were like passing around a joint, like we had like kind of introduced. We had like kind of met at this point, but we hadn't really like talked. And we were talking about ranking women and stuff, and someone was talking about like 1 to 10, and I jumped in. I was like, no. I was like, you can't rank on 1 to 10 because like a 6 is way too close to a 9. You got to do a scale of 1 to 30. And he just stopped. Karizmatik just stopped, and he was like, I like this white person. He's like, what? He's like, he gets it. And then he went to go buy. He was like, I'm gonna buy some chicken. He's like, anybody want some chicken? I was like, I don't really have any money. And he's like, man, I hate when people do that. He's like, I asked if you wanted some chicken. I didn't ask if you wanted to throw down on some chicken, motherfucker. I'm offering. I was like,
very different question. Yeah. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah. That is truly Karizmatik.
I offered you chicken. I said nothing about money. Fuck you. Fuck you. People be like, you want to go to breakfast, and then they expect to split the check? What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Dude. You were one of my first friends in comedy, too.
I just do me.
You said Thunder Bar. So first time I went to Thunder Bar, I was like, I'm like, this is bum ratties, you know. I could not go into because I'm at the age where bum ratties, and it was such a cool fucking bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw AC/DC in there. I saw Boston. I saw
Oh
the
my
Rolling
God.
Stones
wow.
in there. I mean, I could just so many bands I saw playing in that place. I lived right around the corner from there, so
Oh my
I love
God.
that. Yeah.
That means we definitely got to have you on quite a bit more because that
Yeah.
means you live very close to Irish.
Yeah, I used to, 12. I think it was 1288 Calm Ave, which was right across from Natalie's now, which used to be played against Sam's,
Oh,
which is
okay.
one of the bars I worked at. So
Yo, these places have turned over so much. I don't even know. Like
Yeah.
my lifetime, how many spots have been there? I
yeah,
don't even know. Dang, that's crazy. Well, thank you guys for patting me on the back a lot. That's been nice. Well, I started, but
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Now we're not stroking your ego.
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, you feel all special and shit. But how is it being trans in the comedy scene in Boston? Would you find?
I most people for the most part they're pretty open and accepting. I don't know if it's because I'm trans that a lot of people like I'll go to comedy shows or open mics and people say hi to me outside, but once I'm inside, it's kind of they're into their own little groups. But they've always been another family. A lot of them have been so accepted right from the very beginning, which is great.
See, I can appreciate that. One thing I do kind of think that about the Boston scene is that they could be a little bit,
Clicky.
they can go a little overboard. You know what I mean? Because
That's a
like
good word.
being like not specifically with trans, just with all minority groups. Like you got like not being able to joke about a minority group is still discrimination.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like dude, it bugs me so much because it's like, wait, so you're saying that they're different.
Yeah.
Like me joking about them, like they're just like anyone else to me. But if you go like they're the special people we can't talk about, it's like, well, now you're making them some
How
different.
could you not talk about it? That's what's wrong about comedy. We're so accepting of everybody, but we're not accepting of comedy. That's like
Well,
Exactly.
it's weird. They think that like if you make a joke about it, it means you hate it. And it's like,
Right.
no,
Well,
we have to talk
a
about
lot
it
of
to
people-
humanize it.
A lot of people, Dave Chappelle, when he came out with his last, you're trans, you must hate him.
Yeah,
Like, actually, no. Some of those jokes were pretty fucking funny.
They were hilarious.
it was
They
so
were right
funny.
on. I know, like, I could picture certain friends when he tells a certain joke. Like, yeah, I know somebody like
That's
that.
what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Is it's like he says it, and you're like,
Exactly.
I know someone that's like that.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
you're like that could. It's so plausible that even if you don't know someone, you're like, I could. It's funny because you get it. And it's I don't know how people don't get it or like why they even get offended. That's what's crazy.
Well, that's because people don't have common sense, and that's why most comedians have common. Well, I can't say that because there are a lot of them that don't.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I was nodding, but I was like,
Yeah, I pulled back on the reins, going, wait, I could name 100 that don't. Yeah.
I was gonna say completely different. I love she was like, well, we're whoa, and she was like, I don't know about Irish.
Yeah,
I don't know that motherfucker. Easy. I'm not gonna.
I've had several white comics tell me that I shouldn't use the N-word. I'm like, I don't think you have a dog in this race.
Which is wild.
Like, I don't think
shut
you
up,
have a dog
whitey.
in this race right now. Like,
Like, what?
if you don't like the
Stop
joke, you
making
don't
them
like the
rules.
joke. But
See, I thought I could get away with that. I had this one joke that, somebody called me racist. I'm like, racist? I've gone to bed with, and the way I said it was, Spix.
I think that's fucking hilarious.
Hearts. But people got offended. Oh, chinks.
Don't have corona. Oh my god.
Oh, wait. I think Mitzy. I think your audio cut out.
I can hear.
Can you?
Oh,
Huh. I can't hear.
my sneeze threw everything off.
Hang on.
Hon, you can't be sneezing.
Oh, bad.
Let me. Shit. How can I? Hang on.
Just really low.
I can't.
Nah, I mean,
Hang on. I can't hear Mitzy at all. Can we do like redial real quick? I want to make sure everyone on the podcast can hear because I can't hear it all.
okay.
Let me hang on. I'm gonna end the call and recall you guys real quick.
All right. So,
Do 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 do.
Shit. Hang on, let's see. I can fix this, everyone. Be cool. Everyone,
Facebook
be cool.
and clear. Yep. Go back to our Facebook thing.
Hang on. Everything's fucked, everyone. Hang on. Fuck!
Everything's actually fine.
Everything's fine. It's going to be a 2-second ordeal. Here we go.
There he is.
Hello.
Can you hear?
Hello.
Yes. We're good.
All right, yeah, we're
Yay,
good.
we're back. Woohoo!
All right, we're back. I
Excellent.
temporarily lost my voice. I've never lost my voice.
Oh,
Ooh, I saved it. I'm the best producer ever. All right.
lovely.
There we go.
Sorry, you were saying.
Jokes and things. I mean, yeah. So Whitney Cummings also has a joke like that. Something about like, does anyone have friends that say they're feminists but they're actually just assholes? Like, the moment I heard that the first time, I pictured it in my head. I'm like, I have friends like that.
Hell yeah! I mean, half of these jokes are being told to gain perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You know what I mean?
And,
Because-
Right.
and it's
exactly,
just
to
people.
show the other side. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like one of the most enlightening experiences of my life, I would say, was literally the first year I went to Skankfest in New York, and we were doing the Skank March the first day, and I'm walking with all these just comedy fans, everyone of every fucking walk of life's there, and I'm smoking a joint literally with this black dude, a white dude in a Proud Boy hat, and this trans person, and we're just laughing and giggling about comedy. Nobody gave a fuck about anything. We're just laughing. And that's like, you know what I mean? That's all it was. And what's funny is like everyone comes at a place like Skankfest and they're literally like, it's racist, it's transphobic, all this and that and that. And it's like, man, if you were there, like that's like not a thing at all. Like even like, you know, the surprise like pop-up Louis C.K. show. It's like they tried to, after the fact, the venue was doing this thing where they're like, well, some of our staff felt like they weren't safe. And it's like, I was looking at all of the staff, the bartender, they were fucking losing their minds too. Like, holy shit, it's Louis C.K. Like, dude, the eruption when he walked out was like ear shattering. It's crazy. It's like people just give a fuck about comedy. All that other shit doesn't matter. And that, like, you know, not even to like shamelessly plug my own show, Shit Talking Cunts, but like that's all we care about on that show. It's like what's the we go, are you a good cunt or a bad cunt? The rest of it doesn't matter.
That's facts. I mean,
What Irish people always say, because I grew up in an Irish neighborhood, and I think they say it nice. Adi, you're a fucking cunt, you are. it's just so natural.
Hey, I'm
Adi,
a
you're
good
fucking
see, like I like to put it like this:
It's
like
fine.
just because, like, let's say, like on this podcast, just because I'm the only black person right now, does not mean I'm the only person to experience blackness. If you know
Right.
what I'm saying. So, like,
Yeah.
other people may not experience it directly, but they definitely, I mean, they definitely see what is. They definitely have their own perspective built on what they see, based on what they hear, based on like what they come in contact with, their friends, and all of that.
Mhm.
So why shouldn't they be able to make a joke based on their perspective gained
Yeah.
at that time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If
it's
anything, it
your
just
life
builds
and
a-
experiences. Who is someone to tell you that your life and experiences are you know? It's, and you're not even necessarily saying they're right or wrong, but it's just like these are my experiences. Other people probably experience it, maybe not you, but other people do.
Yeah.
There's,
I mean, like,
there's dumb
going back to
cunts
that Dave Chappelle thing. I mean, like, the joke about Tranny and Blackie, that was fucking perfect. I think like I don't know how you can see that like that is coming off transphobic when he literally puts it in perspective in a way that everybody should be able to understand.
Yeah.
You know, I like to relate it because people like to say that race is nothing like, you know, being gay or trans or anything. No, they're all identity. You know what I mean? They all deal with what a person,
It's an
how the
identity
person
you
sees
didn't
themselves.
you didn't choose.
Well,
You
it's
know?
how people perceive you, yeah.
Yeah. And this is not something, and these are ones that you don't get to choose for yourself.
Yeah, it's just you. This is what you're. This is what you're dealt, and you're like, this is just my.
Yeah.
This is my life.
Like, I'm sorry, I gotta deal with the fact that I like booty just as much as everybody gotta deal with the fact that I like booty. Like, fuck it.
Facts.
Like,
Yeah.
the fuck you want me to do? Can't stare at my own ass. Like, the hell?
We love you for it, man.
Hey, love me or hate me for it. I ain't disrespecting nobody.
I accept you.
You don't disrespect a flower.
Let's
by
put it
looking,
this
okay?
way: if a gunman put a gun to my head and he goes, Karizmatik told us a word, and you've got to guess that word, or we're gonna pull the trigger. The first word before he even finishes the sentence, I'm going ass.
And
I'm gonna pray he didn't say booty.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Because I was trying to do it at the same time as him. I was like, I hope he doesn't say booty. I hope he says ass. Because I know it's ass first. Because A, B.
It's an
A,
ass.
B.
It's an ass or an ass derivative. That's all I know.
He'd be like, I need at most 2 guesses.
For Karizmatik, it's an ABC situation. Ass,
I feel
booty, coochie. Done.
I feel like once they say charismatic, Irish will instantly stop sweating. He'd be like, I know ass, because he won't let the sentence finish. Ass.
I'm like,
booty.
Just all you got to do is just. It's like a dunk contest at that point where everyone fucked it, where you just got to do just a regular dunk. You don't got to do no spin or crazy. Just put the ball in the fucking hoop. Don't be flashy. Just get it done. Walk it in. Put it in. Just fucking. Whoo.
Hut.
Like, people used to say when I first started my comedy, they're like, yo, thank you for being so vulnerable. I'm like, yo, like, I don't know if I see it as being vulnerable. I'm just like,
I just love ass.
Thank you for being you.
Like, what else the fuck do I gotta give? Like, I just don't know. I don't know. This shit, I find my existence hilarious. Yeah. So, like, laugh
I'm sure
with
a
me.
lot of people do.
Laugh with me,
you're a big black Nigerian man that loves eating ass.
I eat ass.
I like doing a lot of things with ass. I like just eating it. Nah, that's limiting me, man. Don't limit me.
So have you guys seen the MBTA buses? You seen how on all the buses it says, "Please enter" on the rear? That's going to be my new tramp stamp next summer.
Don't tempt me, Mitzy. Don't tempt me.
I don't know why. I picture Karizmatik talking about ass like Bubba did in Forrest Gump. Like you can.
I like all types of ass.
I like all types of ass. Sweaty ass, dry ass.
I like ass with freckles on it.
I do.
I like ass even if it's a little ashy.
Yeah, I do.
No, see, I can't have ashy ass.
But do you see the difference in the smile on Karizmatik's face when you start listing types of ass?
I can definitely do ashy.
Genuine smile.
I can definitely do ashy ass because I got different types of lubrication. You know what I mean? Won't be ashy by the time I'm done with it. Believe that.
Yes, he looked like a kid at Christmas when you were starting.
That's exactly what I was goddamn thinking.
That's my exact criticism every time.
like wow, all this ass is for me.
That's my face every time.
Santa brought all this ass for me. I was a good boy this year.
Oh my god.
I never thought to ask Santa.
Please, sir. Please, ma'am. May I have some more?
Okay, we are so off topic.
No, I mean, we kind of are, but kind of aren't. I mean, living one's truth is just a matter of being who you are through the thick and thin, and struggling to become that person and unapologetically that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, with trans people, it's easy to see because, I mean, they're trans in public. It's easy to see that they're living their truth. You know what I'm saying? For a lot more people, it's harder. It's harder to see,
somebody as old as me who transitioned late in life, I mean, I'm easy to spot in a crowd. I'm 6 foot,
No, but at the same time, it couldn't have been any easier because you had that many more years of being a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that couldn't have made it that couldn't have made it any easier. So I mean, that's still a lot to be acknowledged. Exactly.
The only part that made it easier was I know how to fucking fight.
Yeah.
Yo, I love those moments where you see like a trans person arguing with some dude, and then all of a sudden they throw on the guy voice.
Yeah.
And the person just freaks the fuck out. I'm like, yeah, get him, motherfucker.
Dude, don't make me kick your ass.
He's like, I may be a girl now, but I used to be a nigga.
My favorite line was always, "Do you really want to have somebody in a dress kick your ass? Because I'll do it for you."
I ain't getting beat up by someone in a dress.
Shit.
No, I won't.
Love that.
I'll fuck someone in a dress.
Karizmatik literally brought like 3 or 4 clips that is is that. Like, oh, really? You want to get your ass beat by someone in a dress? And it's just, and they do. And they do get their ass beat. And it's awesome. It's so good.
My thing is that, first off, you see someone living their truth like that, that's a confident motherfucker. You really want to fight that? Like, just on sight. That's a confident motherfucker.
To be honest,
you really want to fight that?
It's an all-encompassing problem just in general. And I really think it's like the syndrome of when you're driving in a car and someone cuts you off, or just what the internet creates, where people are so comfortable now saying whatever they want on the internet, and it's like
putting it wherever they think
and put it wherever they want
or think is appropriate.
Wait, hold on, Annie.
It's not just on the internet; it's on the street. They'll say it on the street. They'll say it on the subway. They don't care. People, you have a president that will say anything.
Fact.
So people say, "Oh, yeah. I can. If I don't like somebody, I can tell them that they're assholes." I mean, it happens. I mean, people come up, hey, faggot, or. Like,
no, say that.
No, I'm transgender. You fucking moron.
Say some type of shit like that to me, and I'll fight you. But fuck you.
But
like,
no, and that's what I'm saying. It's like somebody just feels comfortable lobbying that out to you, whether it's on the internet or in public, and it's like, do you not understand that I'll beat you? I will beat the fuck out of you, dog. What are you talking about? You just feel comfortable saying that to me. It's like what? And what's even more annoying is that they'll say some shit like that to you, and you'll beat the fuck out of them, and then they'll do some pussy shit like call the cops, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were the one talking all that good shit. What happened?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My favorite fights on freaking World Star Hip Hop are when like someone uses that word faggot, and I just watch that person wail on them. No, I love it because like. When you catching hands, nobody's a faggot. Like, you just whap, dragging you by the hair with them long ass nails.
Nothing really means anything anymore when you're getting punched in the face.
It don't.
So the MBTA has a 7-minute video of me beating the shit out of this guy.
That's a long beating. That's a long beating.
I want that video.
Where is it?
It's so. I was assaulted at Forest Hills. This goes back like 3.5 years ago.
Oh my God.
It was about
wait, hang on. We got a Kingz story time drop. Kingz story time. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so it was like 1 a.m. in the morning. I was at my at Jock's actually that night. I had been drinking. My roommate was working at the time. This is back when I had a roommate. So she said, I don't want to be on the bus stop. She goes, let's go smoke a joint over in the corner. So we walked over to the corner and we sat down behind, away from everybody. And she rolls a joint and we start smoking. And this guy walks over. So she said, hey, I don't want to be bothered. I want to be able to talk to my roommate. He goes, oh, it's a free world. And he pulled out a cigarette. And she goes, don't smoke by us. We don't like cigarettes. And he blew smoke in her face. He goes, it's a free world. So I stood up and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be as nice as her. Maybe because I'm Italian. And he looks he looks me up and down. He goes, medical. And I said, no, I'm a transsexual. Get it right. Get your slangs right. I'm transsexual. And you could see him. He just has this like slow reach for a punch, and before he threw the punch, bam! I hit him like twice. And
you gave him one and one to think about. Fuck yeah.
He kept throwing punches though. I mean, I kept tagging him, and I was pissed because if I had hit a guy 10, 20 years ago that many times, they would have been down. I mean, that was my big thing. I had a lot of wins by knockouts. I had and this guy kept taking my punches, and he would throw a punch, and I would slip it, and I would throw a couple. I thought I did pretty good at the fight, but aftermath, there was an investigation, and some MBTA detective pulls me and my roommate were being questioned, and they have this video. They want me to watch the video, and if I could make statements about it.
Oh God.
And it's literally like 7.5 minutes long, and all I could think of, like, good posture, good combination.
You're pulling some Joe Rogan shit. Just be like the fucking slipping the jab, fucking great 1-2 combo to body.
I'm literally beating the shit out of him. And,
Like, wow,
so
good. look
The
real good.
The MBTA brought him to court and everything. Because I wasn't going to press charges on him because I figured he got his lesson. But, yeah,
And that's it's exactly that. It's like you knock him the fuck down. It's like you had enough fuck face.
but so he got off, and about 2 years after, I saw the detective on the case, and he says, "Hey, Mitzy, how are you? How's it going?" And he goes, I really feel bad that you didn't get the victory out of that case. But if it makes you feel better, you're still the #1 video in the precinct.
Fuck yeah.
Mitzy, if they release that shit today, you go viral.
Hell
You
yeah.
go
I can
fucking
see it.
viral.
They probably get a rookie, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to see this. You got to watch this video."
Yeah.
You're like, you see that one? You see that one? Don't fuck with her.
Oh my god, amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, nobody has been that dumb with me yet. You know what I mean? Just they look me up and down. They're like, yeah, I don't want any part of that problem right there.
Well, actually, when you come to Karizmatik, you got to look up because you're taller than most people.
Mhm.
Fact.
Oh man, I say rules of the jungle. I mean, you wouldn't walk up to a lion and punch it in the face. Don't be, walking up to me and
Facts.
trying that shit.
Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
There you go. You should have a rapping career, Irish.
No, I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't.
Yeah. There's enough white rappers in the world.
Yeah. Oh, I'm at least a percentage Native American. How dare you?
What does he want? What does he want to be called? Runs on water or some shit? Get the hell out of here!
Runs on marijuana.
Who doesn't?
Plays lots of Xbox. Shit. So
did you get back a little more of the of dating history and experience and stuff like that? What do you think of Karizmatik? Steer the ship, oh captain, my captain.
no, I would say this. So I mean, I would say one of the person that I see you with on a constant basis, your boyfriend.
Yeah, Leo.
He's been a big supporter, great guy. I mean, how did you end up with him, or how did you guys meet?
We actually we started dating last year during Pride. We met. We talked a few times before Pride. Was going to meet up at the parade. We didn't. So he took me to the barbecue the next day, and we've been dating
Nice.
since. So, yeah.
Yo, he's smooth. Look at that guy. Okay.
Not bad for an old man. Yeah.
Played it cool. It's like we could meet up at Pride, but that's kind of like the pop culture mainstream thing. He's like, let's go barbecue next day. Smooth. That's some smooth shit.
Well, it was actually, I was in the parade, and he was watching the parade, and he was watching it with a couple of friends.
Oh, so
I
you
never
got a
made it
taste and was like, fuck, I can't go to the barbecue.
But by the time he made it back to where he was, I mean, the day was over because
Yeah.
we had to hit a bar, every bar on the way back.
Oh,
So, yeah.
naturally, of course.
So let me ask this: how many relationships have you been in since transitioning?
Oh shit, we lost audio again.
Uh-oh.
Hang on, sorry. Let me do the call again one more time. It's Mark Zuckerberg. He's trying to silence the Kingz Podcast.
Never. Ani, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you. It's just Mitzzy keeps dropping out. Damn. It's right there in good stuff.
Seeing you.
All right.
I don't know. I'm not
Hello?
touching anything.
All right, we're good.
I'm not touching anything.
Can you hear?
Yes.
All right.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Like, yo.
Thank you for staying tuned for these commercial messages.
Honestly, we can slip some in next time on STC.
Yo. SDC, know your own podcasts.
No, you usually don't play commercials for the thing that's airing right now. You just play,
Sure.
but like, Anya, I'll teach you that later. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, aw. Sorry, Mitzy, you were saying?
Not sure what we were saying at the time.
How many relationships? It was. You said you haven't been in that many relationships.
Yeah, I said I hadn't been in too many relationships. I got out of a marriage when I was first transitioning, so the problem was I was still in love with her. Still am to this day, but so it took me a long time to start really dating people.
And like, what caused the breakup? Was she not into the transition, or like?
Well, she says it was that I lied to her for 25 years, which, she had a point. I was lying to myself, but I was also lying to her.
Yeah, I guess that kind of doesn't play into the honesty thing because as a person grows, they learn
I
who they
think it does.
are. So
Yeah, no, but there were plenty of times I mean, we were married to each other twice. So we had two kids together. So there were plenty of times for me to say, "Hey, I need to tell you this thing about me." You know, even though I was hiding those feelings and repressing them,
Yeah.
it's still being dishonest.
that's fair.
But see,
That's
that's
fair.
the estrogen in me speaking. So, 1,000 milligrams once a week.
There you go. There you go. Irish needs some too.
Yeah, it probably would help love me off. I'm too angry all the time.
Yo, honestly.
I had nothing for STC this week, so I just picked a fight with a Boston comic. You know me. I'm great. I'm so
That's
likable.
fair. That's
I'm
fair.
so likable.
That's the Irish in you. You can't help it.
To be fair, I did not pick that fight. I did not
We're
pick
not
that fight.
rehashing it
No,
here.
that's it. I'm a cunt.
Oh, I forgot. I did have something to plug. I'm gonna be on Brianna's what is it called? Roast show, roast battle show. Yeah. That should be interesting.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Plan on going no holds barred. Okay.
We don't want to mention who you're roasting,
No, definitely don't.
but
Just
let's
stay
just
tuned.
say that if you're a fan of the Kingz Podcast, you will be very interested in seeing Karizmatik perform and roast against this person.
Should be fun.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So, how do you guys feel about doing comedy online in front of a camera with no audience?
Okay, this is my opinion. My opinion is that if you're doing some kind of open mic or thing like that, I think anything that's meant to be a stand-up show, I think is kind of dumb because I think it doesn't really work without the audience personally. I think if you're gonna do some kind of targeted show, like who was telling me, I had Vaden Jones on the other day, and he was telling me he's doing kind of like a news show where he has like 6 people on, but he has on Instagram Live, but he gives them like a topic beforehand to kind of like do like a fake news report about. And I'm like, okay, if you're doing like a themed kind of like, hey, have a comment, if it's not them doing their stand up, I'm okay with it. But it's like, to me, the idea of
something comedically like creative and to like keep your
Yeah,
muscles flexed.
Like
but
to be honest,
not-
even like the roast battle thing, I'm a little on the fence about. Like I like it because at least it's like roast battle, and it's like you don't necessarily need an audience to like. I mean, you need them a little bit to get the reaction of like because you're gonna want to know, you won't really know if those things will land or not. That's it, and except for the comments and the after fact. That's my only problem with it. But it's like I appreciate people trying to keep comedy alive and keep some kind of avenue for it so people don't get rusty. But it
think
feels silly to me.
through all that, all the sifting, there will be like a good something that comes out of it that people will start to use as a model. But
maybe it feels like
'Cause I
people
think
are
we're
like,
gonna
let me
have
not
to.
do a podcast, so let me do something like this to do a stand up. I just think anything that needs an audience, like stand up needs an audience because you need that instantaneous like feedback from them. It feels stupid to me to try and do online where you can't visually see the feedback.
Yeah,
I mean-
I've been asked to do a few, and I did a couple, and it sucks. To me personally, I didn't feel like I'm just ripping some jokes off.
Just
feels
to
so
the
weird.
air.
right.
It feels fake,
Well, and to be fair, it's even like with this, right? It's like, if we were all here in the same room, this would flow. Like, this has been a great podcast so far, but even still, if we were all in the same room, even better it would be. It'd flow a little more naturally. We wouldn't have the dropouts, just all that. So it's like, even this, there's a little bit of a disconnect. So it's like, and this is just 4 people. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to do comedy where you're trying to perform to like, in theory, 10 plus people. It's like, it just doesn't work if I'm just in a room. I might as well just be talking in a mirror. Like nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
I don't know that I did well other than read the comments if people are even choosing to like type ha 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 after each joke.
right.
Like there's a reason the laugh track is important. You know what I mean? Like I was watching what is it called? Tonight with John Oliver, or last week with John Oliver and what's that other dude show on HBO? Fuck, whatever. But they were doing it from their house and they didn't have like a laugh track in the back, and like it
Makes a
almost
big
felt like
difference. Yeah.
every joke was just flat. You know what I mean? Sometimes I chuckle, but like I was like, damn, like I felt like I was laughing alone, which made it less funny. You know,
Yeah.
Well, and it's weird too if it's someone that's been doing like Like, let's say something like a Bill Maher, right, who's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, that's who the other one was.
That's it.
Yep.
Right? So it's got to be weird if you're like Bill Maher, who you're used to waiting for those, like, laugh breaks and stuff.
No,
so
he
like,
still waited.
That's what I mean. So it's like he's
Yeah.
doing his jokes, but still waiting for a laugh break that doesn't come because he's so programmed to being used to that live instantaneous feedback. So it just makes it awkward and weird. You're like, you can't
What
wait.
would be hilarious if people started using their own laugh tracks?
Of them laughing.
So, what's his name? The one I hate from the Tonight Show. He did it. He had his own laugh track, but he would like tell jokes, and then he would press the button and it would laugh. That was the funny part.
Yeah,
The
I
joke.
think that's funny and smart and clever.
It's clever. It's very, very clever. So everybody's gonna laugh at that. But like, yeah, I think the laugh track is very, very important. I mean, the more I listen to things without it, it's just like I want to be at a comedy show where I'm like laughing with the person next to me, like, that shit was hilarious, right?
Well,
like,
it's like with any creative venture, you want feedback to know that it's good. It's like, you know, even if you're just in a band, right? If I'm just playing with a band in a practice space, like we might think we're goddamn the Led Zeppelin and shit, and then we go out and play and we just fucking, oh wow, we suck. Like, wow, like just fucking like bomb hard on stage as a musician and shit. And you're like, oh, like you have to like have that feedback. So it's like, I don't know, even like play, like I get you could, if you were really like well put together band, you could probably like live stream as a band performing songs. But like, I don't know, you still, it's like, I don't know, you still just, you need the there's part of a give and take in energy with any like performance art where you have to like have that audience feedback, or what are you doing other than just kind of really rehearsing to nobody?
very true. I mean, that instantaneous feedback for artists, I think, is very, very important. I mean, there's a reason that even painters go to their own galleries. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like that's their work is definitely delayed gratification because they do all the work and then they later find out if everybody likes it. But still, they need that appreciation, gratification, whatever you want to call it, by the end of the day. And it needs to be felt, and it without you being able to feel if these jokes are in the moment appreciated, doesn't make you understand your joke any better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, what bits of this joke are actually funny? Does the hesitation help? Does it not? And things like that. You're not going to get the right inflection on the joke at all. Mm-hmm. So
with the audience, like I don't do prepared, 5-10 minute sets. I have a couple ideas of what I'm going to say for jokes, but they can vary, and it depends on the crowd. It depends on what they're laughing at. And then
same with me.
It changes. So without that audience, you're like, shit, I should have wrote something down.
But then it just comes off robotic almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're reading. Yeah. Especially me reading. I'm like trying to hold the phone out a little further because I'm blind.
I mean, my eyes ain't doing much better either. So.
Beautiful.
But I don't know. I'm running low on questions.
I think. Well.
We did about an hour, so why don't we wrap it there, and then we can we'll have Mitzzy back on when hopefully the pandemic isn't killing us all.
Yes.
Sounds good. Well, I saw a list of all the comics that you've had on there, and I'm like, wow, how did I get so low on this list, man? So many comics. Now they finally got around to Mitzzy.
We had to save the best for later. Come on, we can't start with the best.
Episode, yeah.
Okay,
the headliners
and
for later.
I run 2 shows that you guys have never come to, other than Karizmatik.
Well, my problem is I podcast on Sunday like late, so I we've been switching STC up though, so like now we're getting done about 6.
Now we start early, so that way you don't have that excuse anymore.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
I find a way.
All right, guys, thanks for having me on your show.
Hell yeah,
Thank
you so much for doing it.
Thank you for taking the time, honestly. I mean,
I have such a busy day now, Do I wear the black yoga pants or the black and pink yoga pants?
Oh, the black and pink. It pairs nicely with the black G-string.
Yes. Because that's what I'm wearing right now. I've been working in 4 weeks.
Oh my God. Well, thank you guys for watching the Kingz Podcast. Cheers. We'll be back on Thursday.
Yup. I've been yours truly, Karizmatik.
Irish O'Neill.
And thanks again, Mitzzy.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Bye,
Peace.
everyone. Peace.
for ways out, rapping and kid day name buzzing. Confederate flag rhetoric terrorizes minds of an awkward white young and KKK loves it. Shit is disgusting. Are you sure this the place you won't be locked up in? When your heart's pumping fast from combat with the roughish, you sure you can keep your brain from crumbling? Keep instruction. Killers is cold, man. You probably got a